as you mentioned, Courtney, it is widely expected we'll see at least 2 new iPhones, potentially 3 new iPhones that'll be differentiated by price and by size. It's widely expected that we'll see an Apple Watch, which would be called the Apple Watch Series 4, that may have a larger display and possibly more advanced health sensing. We may also see a new iPad Pro, and the wild card at this point is whether or not we'll see a new entry-level MacBook.
So, Amit, I know it's probably a long shot to think that Mr. Cook is going to talk about the impact of tariffs on the cost of some of these new Apple products, but it was outlined just several days ago, so I guess it's a fair question to at least ask, what about the profitability of some of these new products? Is the gross margin going to be lower because of what we've potentially going to be seeing with the tariff costs?
Yeah, I would say without the tariff, standalone, these products should have comparable, if not higher, gross margins. And you have 2 things. The LCD phone will have a lower ASP, so that hurts the margins a little bit. But memory cost broadly, and NAND specifically, has come down a fair amount. That should actually help gross margins year over year as you go forward. Now, as it comes to tariffs, right, if and when they do get implemented, Apple's historical practice with these things has always been to raise the price to the end consumer over time. So I do think they'll defend their margins from that perspective. The question may just be, if tariffs get implemented, Apple raises prices, what sort of demand destruction do you end up happening when prices go up so dramatically?
Amit, just quickly on the stock and how the expectations fit into there. It's been kind of common to say that really people aren't building up high hopes for this round of product introductions, yet the stock is up 30% year to date. It's now basically, at a market multiple. It used to be at a discount for years. So to what degree do you think that, I guess, the stock is positioned to accept either disappointment or pleasant surprise here with these products?
Yeah, I sort of concede with you, right? There's been a bit of a dichotomy here where the expectations have been as muted as I've ever seen into an iPhone product cycle, but at the same time, the stocks actually kept working higher. I suspect the stock movement really reflects 2 things. One is value investors like a Warren Buffett buying the name along with Apple's own capital allocation. The second part, I think, has been investors are starting to realize that this is a different Apple story, a different Apple stock than what used to be before. And today, Apple is more about ability to grow revenues 5-6%, even if iPhone units don't grow anymore, really due to services and the other businesses ramping up. So I think that's what you're seeing more and more credit given to Apple. What could surprise you on the upside on that logic would be if they give you any more insight into services monetization and services growth, especially on the media platform.
Yeah, Lauren, I wonder, we talk about services a lot, but usually sometimes these product launches come with sort of an ancillary partnership with another provider or tie-in with Disney. I wonder if there's any talk about that.
There has been some talk about that, especially on the entertainment side. Apple is playing a little bit of catch-up there in terms of just putting out content that, draws people into more of its services. But, at this point, it's really just hard to say. I mean, I think it's a really excellent point that services are a huge and growing part of Apple's business, and especially as at the high end of hardware, the high end of smartphones, more and more of the features start to look alike across the different, smartphone manufacturers. The real differentiator is the kind of services you can offer, and also just how smart your software is, how you're utilizing AI and machine learning to make those glass slabs act that much smarter and better. And so I think that all ties into Apple's broader strategy here.
Lauren, there's a lot of focus on the hardware at this big September event per usual, but as we're talking about services and software, the iOS 12 has at least been out in beta form. Do you think we'll get any more information on when that will be released, and what can consumers expect from that?
I think that's absolutely a safe bet. Typically, we do hear a little bit about iOS 12, and usually what will happen is that Apple will release the final version of the software the week that the iPhone goes on sale. So we could possibly be looking at next week that software being released. We're expecting to see some security updates in iOS 12. We're expecting to see a smarter Siri because, as we know, Siri's had kind of a checkered history since it's been out in the market. And we're also expecting to see some improvements to things like photos, augmented reality, and once again, machine learning.